Hey guys, it's Grubby once again from BlizzCon. It's day number 2, the 3rd of November here, and of course we are still recovering from the shock of a Warcraft 3 Reforged announcement yesterday. If this is news to you, please check out the rest of the YouTube channel. The last few videos have all been various kinds of content like gameplay, Warcraft 3 Reforged, an interview and a vlog as well. And lo and behold, here is another vlog on Warcraft 3 as well. What we're going to be dealing with in this video is trying to answer some of the concerns and complaints and things people liked from the last vlog. Now, I asked you guys to leave questions in the comments section below on the previous video, and there were many comments, many emotions, many opinions, and it's been so interesting reading through them, as many of them echo what I feel about the game as well, and that strengthens my resolve even more. But on the other hand, many new opinions as well, and different points of view that helps me open my mind to how various different people experience the entire announcement of Warcraft 3 and things they like about the new one, things they liked about the old one, and just everything. So it's been very fun. Thank you for your comments. All right, let's get this started. First and foremost, I am once again the most excited about the fact that people will be able to play the new Reforged together with people that have the old game. They can all play together, whether you use the new graphics, old graphics, new audio, old audio, and so on. I'm excited about new people trying the game, people that have played the game before that are coming back, and people that are already playing being serviced with some very nice improvements. So I'm happy about this. Also what it means for YouTube viewership, Twitch viewership, a bigger community, a bigger ladder participation, therefore better matchmaking. All of these I think are going to be very fun and positive things for the health of the game. The fact that Blizzard, the development team, the classic games team, have said that they are planning development for years to come on this game, I think is a key note of a lot of potentially really cool things happening. And no doubt the exact performance of Warcraft 3 Reforged sales will also influence how much they are going to be able to support it in terms of new missions, new content, new skins, whatever. I don't know. They're not committing to any of this yet. I've tried to ask them about it, both on screen and off screen. They're not committing to it too much yet. Their main concern is to do all the main things that they want to achieve with it, which is like graphics, audio, gameplay, campaign, readability. Just make all the improvements that they would like to make and worry about actually super new content later on after the game is shipped, is being played, and so on. Now, let's do also a reminder of some of the biggest emotions and complaints that are coming about the game as well. I think it's very important to remember that on the one hand, this is not the final version, so when you see the graphics and you don't like them, that's not necessarily final, so it's no reason to blow a gasket yet. Did you hear that, Harley Davidson? We're in America! But the other thing is that just because anything isn't set in stone yet, therefore we should not be quiet with our feedback either. If we were, maybe not enough will change. So it's important not to quell anyone's feedback, things they don't like either. Now there are official Battle.net forums where you can leave your feedback. The link is bit.ly/reforged. Make sure that those are small caps letters. You can go to this link and leave them your feedback and tell them what you think. I'll also try to show them the YouTube comment section of this video and the previous videos as well. Now, let's deal with some of the concerns that people may have had about Reforged. I'll try to answer where I can. We've written down a few of them, and if I can't answer, then either I didn't include the question or I will tell you. The number one that came across with many people is the readability of units. This means, can you easily recognize a new graphical model unit as a footman, as a knight, as a priest, as a griffin, as a wyvern, and so on? Can you easily recognize it as a first-time player which I cannot possibly imagine what that's like anymore because I'm clearly not a first-time player. But can you easily recognize it? And also, can you easily recognize it, the readability of a unit, as a long-time player? When the answer there is no, is it then because I'm just not used to it, or because it's simply less readable? That is what I'm going to try to get to the core of as we're going into this Monday's meeting with Blizzard. There's some influencers here, some long-time players, some casters, map makers. We're going to be dealing with that as well, but we want to hear from you about that as well. Right now, I feel like readability could still be better, but because the Reforged release stands somewhere in 2019, that could be in 2 months from now, but don't hold your hopes, or it could be in 13 months from now. So there is still development time to improve such things. I feel like some of the units' readability is good, but the multitude is not good enough yet. Although I appreciate the graphical look of many of the units, even the grit and the seriousness that you can see in a unit like the Knight or the Griffin, not the Griffin, the Knight or the Footman, we need to be able to recognize them. Someone asked about the consistency of the old controls surrounding body blocking and pathing compared to the new one. I've had their answer on that. The aim is to keep it 100% the same. However, it can't be a direct 100% port. Although that part of the engine is practically unchanged, they need to redraw the hitboxes because some of the new graphics, the new models, look different. And they want to make sure that when you think you're clicking a unit, you're also clicking it. So part of the feedback that I and other players will need to give when we play it, and of course I'm going to be able to play it, and you won't be yet, but part of the feedback I have to give is to play it a lot, test it a lot, and be like, I think if I click here, it should be clickable. We're just a small part of that, and the Blizzard internal testing team will have to achieve more with that. But it's good to remember that they've released the information that they're working on the game so that they can get that feedback rather than, them having to do it all by themselves. So I will not think of Reforged as Warcraft 3 if they change the body blocking, the surrounding in any iota, because that's what makes Warcraft 3 special. Trying to struggle with your controls, not as bad as StarCraft 1, but getting good surrounds to come out, that's part of the magic of Warcraft 3. It's one of the most defining identities of Warcraft 3 that you have to work for those things, but there is a skill involved and there is an order to the chaos, and good players will pull that off consistently, and that's what people like watching. And that's why it feels different from the equivalent of a silver player playing Warcraft 3, where he just kind of attack moves with the units. So that's an important part that I will try to be a champion of to defend, the same feel of the units. Some people asked about blood. I don't know why you guys are so bloodthirsty. Did the shaman cast bloodlust on you? Haha. But they noticed that some units that died in some of the gameplay footage didn't have a fountain of blood. And if your parents are watching, they're never going to have it. This is a safe game. Now send them away. Some of those animations weren't done yet. So you'll see that maybe the grunt had blood, but the footman didn't. Did they mean to remove it to make it 2018 politically correct? I don't think so. They just weren't finished with the animation yet. Another example was when I heal solved one unit in an earlier playtesting I did 2 days ago, he got the heal solve animation, but another unit didn't. So these are things they have to individually add to every unit, and they just weren't there yet. Someone asked about, is there going to be new voice work for other languages as well? They're shipping Reforged in 13 different languages from what I understood. The original Warcraft 3 only had 6 different languages. For example, the Korean and Chinese players all used English voices, and that's what they got used to. But they did have Chinese wording, but the voices were in English. So yeah, they're gonna re-record the voices for all those languages, and obviously they're gonna record them for the languages that never existed in Warcraft 3 in the first place. Russian, I think, already existed, as did of course German, Arbeit, 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 abgeschlossen, and Spanish, Trabajo terminado. So these, I believe, are going to be completely re-recorded as well. the same for English. From what I understand, they're definitely going to redo all the voices for unit acknowledgement, zug zug, and for the cutscenes and the cinematics, redo all the voices, generally with voice actors that do those characters in World of Warcraft now. And therefore, World of Warcraft players will recognize those voices, and maybe they'll like it because they recognize it. But I imagine that a large part of the backbone of the Warcraft 3 players, including myself, will probably not like the new actor. From what I understand though, they are going to do it, so there's always a choice, and this is another question that we got: can you scale back to the old audio if you own Reforged? And the answer to that seems 99% yes. So maybe I will switch back to the old one, but maybe I'll try the new one. I think it's not going to be game ending because it doesn't actually affect gameplay, and as a high-level Warcraft 3 player, I should care the most about gameplay, as married as I feel I have gotten to the audio of the original anyway. We're just going to have to wait and see. I think there's very little influence I can have or that people can have with feedback on the actual way that they record the voices. One thing to remember is that some of the original voice actors that worked on Warcraft 3 are dead. Rip in peace. So they can't record any of those lines. And they wanted to add some things, some references to WoW and so on and so on. I'm just telling you the news. I know that for some of you this will not be a popular change, but you should be able to scale back. One thing that I would just like to bring across as well, and also my opinion on it, share my opinion on it, is that I think it's a really good thing when we get new World of Warcraft players to play Warcraft 3 for the first time. Non-Blizzard Games players, if they exist, to play Warcraft 3 for the first time, and returning players. But I think, I don't hope so, but it's possible that the majority of them will be tourists. They'll play 1 time, 2 times, 10 times, 20 times, and I think that's nice for the earnings of the Classic Games team, as they will essentially also be sponsoring a game that we love, and it will enable more support into the game as well, which I think is a great thing. And for some people, playing a bit to play the campaign and maybe a bit of multiplayer, or not even, that's all they need. The game, I think, doesn't cost much. I can't speak for everyone, of course. For me, I think $30 is not much, but certainly I am not to look into anyone's wallet or to make that decision for anyone. And I'm not selling the game either. But I think it's not much for what it could be. And some people think that for that price, maybe they'll just do 1 or 2 playthroughs and that's it. The point I'm trying to make is that the people that have stood by Warcraft 3 for a long time, that have always been a fan of it, they're probably going to be the ones that will also, after Reforged, play it the most. Therefore, I hope that when decisions get made, whether to placate one side or the other, I hope they think more of the hardcore fans and not only the new fans. But we don't know exactly how they're going to do it yet, and I think we should keep an open mind about everything and see what are going to be the definitive decisions. A lot of blah blah from me, but those are my opinions on it, right? Some people have asked, is there going to be a hard copy for the game or only a downloadable version? Because they have the collector's edition online and they have the standard edition online, but will there be a hard copy? I like my Warcraft 3 hard copy box from all those years ago very much. And I just so happen to have stood next to one of the developers, Matt Morris, who does design on the original Warcraft 3 and on this one. He didn't know the answer to that. Generally, of course, that is going to be a marketing decision, which is not directly the technical directors of Warcraft 3. I don't know if the answer is out there already. I imagine not. Generally, they don't release information regarding that so early, especially since you can get the pre-purchase now on playwarcraft3.com. They're not going to tell you at this moment, yes, there will be a physical copy. If they did that, people might hold out and not get the pre-purchase yet. So they're not going to tell you whether that's true or not anyway. And I also don't know the answer to that. So if you value that, you can wait with it. And if you don't value it, then you don't have to. So he said he thought it would be cool if that were to be the case. If that were possible, to line your gaming cupboard with a hard copy of Reforged as well. My guess is maybe 50-50, I don't know. One other question on the previous video log as well was, why sink all these resources into Warcraft 3? And that's blasphemy, by the way, I don't want to hear speak like that. I'm just kidding. But why do all these resources into Warcraft 3 and why not put them into a new game, Warcraft 4? On the surface, that may seem like a valid comparison, would be my answer, but the development that goes into a new game that meets the standards of a game company like Blizzard and what you might expect from a Warcraft 4 RTS, the expectations riding on it, would certainly be a 5-year project or somewhere around that time. And so it's definitely not comparable what a Blizzard Classics game team can achieve with an existing amazing game and doing a remaster of it, even though they're changing a lot and they're obviously putting a lot of time, energy and money into it that they of course hope for a return on, but also it is incomparable the amount of time and resources it costs. So even had they not done remastered, that still would not give us Warcraft 4. Furthermore, RTS is such a difficult genre to make a really good game in, and even if you make a really good game, that doesn't mean that lightning will strike twice, that Warcraft 3 and Warcraft 4 will be equally magical. I use that word because I've always thought of Warcraft 3 as art and magic, and there's an element in it that sometimes can be hard to define, to say why this game survived the test of time so well. So I hope that at least answers your question in terms of my opinion on it, and that there is a difference in the development of that. For the rest, I don't think I'll have a chance to do another video log here from the United States, so I hope you enjoyed my coverage of Warcraft 3 Reforged at BlizzCon 2018. I'm gonna be still going, as I told you guys, to the Blizzard office, so I won't be able to go back to my streaming schedule just yet, but we're still gonna have 2 videos daily for you with vlogs and of course also the gameplay that you have become used to, that are being uploaded twice per day. So definitely, if you haven't yet, please subscribe to the channel. There's Warcraft 3 content every day being uploaded, with some of the highlights that came from my Twitch stream with some really cool games, crazy games, high-level games, and so on. My live stream should be continuing again either on the 7th of November or the 8th of November, so make sure to check out twitch.tv/followgrubby as well. And remember to also subscribe to this YouTube channel. Thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed the coverage, and I'll see you guys very soon in Azeroth.